Hi, Robert. Sorry to bother you at home.
Don't be. Not on this case.
That's what I figured.
You got something?
Yeah, I've been checking on alibis.
Donnelly's?
Yeah, and that was the very first one I checked.
Okay, let's have it.
Well, it would appear that your old buddy Donnelly would... What? Oh,
Don't mind me. I just live here.
Oh, we're just talking business, Holly. Nothing terribly important.
Oh, go right ahead. I couldn't care less.
She'll get over it. All right, Donnelly's alibi. What is it? Does it check out?
Wait, I don't get it. Surely you don't suspect Donnelly?
No?
Oh, I thought he was one of your best friends.
What does that have to do with anything?
Don't you trust your friend?
I trust the facts.
Well, the fact that Slater worked for Donnelly certainly doesn't mean that Donnelly was involved in the murder attempt.
I dearly hope you're right.
But you're not convinced.
Till there's would-be killers behind bars, I suspect everyone.
Well, I think you can put your friend Donnelly at the bottom of your list.
His alibi checks out?
Well, according to the airline, Sean Donnelly was nowhere near Port Charles when either of the attempts on Jones's life were made.
For what that's worth.
Well, it should be worth a lot, considering that we know Slater was in town on both occasions.
True.
And we definitely have evidence that Slater was at the hospital the night of the knifing.
Thanks to Frisco and Felicia.
So that gives us 2 strikes on Slater.
It's a start.
Well, Robert, what more do you want?
Some more pieces to the puzzle.
Well, listen, if that...
She comes again.
Holly.
Oh,
Don't. You
Holly.
might say something that I'm not supposed to hear.
All right, you've made your point.
I only came in to ask if you and Dr. Watson here wanted some coffee.
I'd like you to sit and listen to this.
Why? Is the good part over?
Sit, please.
Me too, I think.
All right. Now, it was you that made the connection between Slater and Hines. Now, at this point, that could link him to Peter and the treasure.
Oh, Robert, you're reaching.
Just trying to pull a few of these loose ends together. Now, obviously, we can't make any connection between Slater and Peter. Not yet, anyway.
Well, what makes you so sure?
Well, I don't know. I'm not even sure whether there is one, but if there is, I intend to find it. And then we have the business of the accomplices. I mean, we know he didn't do this job at the hospital on his own.
Well, sure, somebody had to ignite that smoke powder.
Right.
Yes, but who?
And where are they now? I mean, did his partner or partners leave town with him?
Well, we found no sign of Slater in Manhattan. I've got men checking every flea bag in town.
Maybe that's not such a good idea.
Why not?
My guess is you're wasting your time.
Robert, what would you suggest that we do?
Check out the best hotels. Don't forget, Slater took some money from Donnelly. He may be doing this in style.
Well, you're right. I never thought of that.
See what you can find out, mate.
Yeah, I'll get right on it. Goodbye, Holly.
Bye. Hungry? I've got dinner cooking.
I'm hungry, but not for food. One way or another, I'm gonna nail Slater.
You know what would be nice?
What?
For us to get through dinner without you having to rush off somewhere. I mean, when was the last time you and I sat through an entire meal together without you going off somewhere?
Breakfast?
Toast and coffee doesn't count.
No, I'm not planning on anything for the evening.
Except being with me.
Something might come up, though.
It had better not. I didn't hear that, did you?
Sorry. Scorpio. What? Where? All right. Tell them not to touch a thing. I'll be right there.
Well, it was very nice dining with you.
I gotta run.
Somehow, I knew you were going to say that.
I found a footlocker of Slater's at the Port Charles Hotel. I'm hoping it will have some interesting goodies in it.
Well, I hope it's worth it.
So do I. Listen, don't hold dinner for me, all right?
I'll see you at breakfast. If I'm lucky.
Evening. I'm gonna run. Police business, you know.
Yes, as usual. What else?
Bye.
Bye. Well, come right on in. You're just in time for dinner. I have to talk to you. Well, I'm not going anywhere.
I've made up my mind, and I wanted to tell you before you heard it from anyone else.
Tell me what?
I'm divorcing Grant.
I see.
Well, you don't sound very surprised.
Oh, should I be? I mean, I've seen this coming for quite some time.
Yes, I suppose you have.
But I am sorry. Do you have any other marital plans?
You mean Jimmy Lee? Yes, we might get married. I don't know.
It's funny. I always thought you and Grant had such a good, strong marriage.
Well, there was a time when I thought so, too.
You know, you've been through so much together. All those adventures that you've had, the business with the DVX, the trial.
Yes, we have been through some exciting times, haven't we?
It seems such a shame to turn your back on all of that.
Holly, let me tell you, the thrill is long gone. Grant was trained from childhood to lead a very disciplined life. He'd never learned how to be spontaneous, how to have fun. And now that he's settled down, he is one big bore.
Well, I understand your need for a little excitement. I've been battling that same demon myself lately.
I can't live without it. The man I love has got to make me feel like anything could happen.
And Jimmy Lee does.
Far more than Grant.
Well, you're probably not going to be surprised at what I say, and that is that I'm not particularly sure that Jimmy Lee is the right man for you either. I mean, he's a little crude.
I find his earthy quality very appealing.
Well, you can call it whatever you want, but I'm afraid that you might get bored with him, too.
Well, I've got to do something.
If I were you, I'd check out the waters very carefully before I dove in. It may be a very big mistake to rush into a marriage with Jimmy Lee Ho.
The janitor's messing around. I heard their voices, but when I got there, they were gone.
Well, they probably heard you coming.
As long as they were anywhere near the footlocker, I could care less.
I can't wait to see what Slater left for us.
One damning piece of evidence proving that he's our man would be good enough for me.
This is it.
Then open it.
All right. Okay. Does that? There we go. Yeah.
Gun oil.
Yeah, but no gun.
Damn.
I wonder if it was the one that Slater used on Jones.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised, would you?
He must have taken it to New York with him.
Well, he couldn't have carried it on the plane. Is there anything else of value in there?
Take a look,
Nothing
fellas.
we can use.
Just sort of junk flying around stored in somebody's garage or attic.
All right, seal it up. I want forensics to have a look at it. Tell them to go over every square inch of this case. They may find something. Whatever it is, it'll never be as damning as the recovery of that gun. If only we found it. Nice shot.
Well, the old pro hasn't lost his touch.
You can be had.
Certainly not by you.
Yeah? Give me a dart.
Hmm.
Listen, I want to thank you for letting me bounce ideas off you.
I enjoy it. It's like old times.
Nothing like a couple of WSB minds to sift through information like this.
What in particular do you want to discuss, Robert?
Slater, just indulge me for a minute.
Of course.
Now, Slater came from Mexico.
As far as we know.
Then we have Van that was knifed, probably involved in the treasure hunt with Peter.
True.
And when Peter himself turns up in Port Charles, he's knifed, much the same way that Van was. Again, probably more of Slater's handiwork.
What are you driving?
Wait, just let me go on. I haven't quite put it all together yet, but I want to share a sort of a half-baked notion with you.
What's that?
I think this treasure exists.
Oh, come on.
Now, wait a minute.
Robert.
You think about it. Now, what else? What else would have attracted Peter and Van to Port Charles? And they died because they knew something. Something that Slater didn't want to get out.
Aren't you getting a little ahead
Now,
of your facts here?
I haven't given it to you all yet. I also think that the Cassidines figure in this somewhere.
This I gotta hear.
All right, listen. Everybody used to hang out around the waterfront. Now, Van was knifed in a sleazy dive down there. Peter was probably knifed down there too. However, he hauled himself over to that Pullman car.
So?
So it leads me to conclude that whatever clues are lying around regarding this treasure are going to be found down at the waterfront.
Sounds pretty far-fetched to me.
Better idea?
Sorry to bother you, Mr. Donnelly, but the shipment you were expecting from Mexico just arrived.
Thank you, Linda.
Not even close. What's the matter, old pro? Losing your touch? What's with you, mate? Your mind's not on the game.
You have me there, Robert? Seems my aim is off.
Not like you to throw a simple game of darts.
I guess my mind is on other things.
Maybe it's on that shipment from Mexico.
I get shipments in here every day from all over the world.
Well, something put you off the mark. Maybe you were upset when you heard about that shipment from Mexico.
Why should I be?
Because Slater comes from Mexico. Because that's where Peter was before he came to Port Charles. That's where the Aztec treasure comes from.
You know, all along, Robert, I thought you were the commissioner of the police department for Port Charles. Since when did you become commissioner for the National Tourist Bureau of Mexico?
My mind's been south of the border ever since Tony got shot.
What are you trying to say to me, friend?
Things I don't even want to think, Sean.
Then you'd better spell it out.
I want to take a look at that shipment from Mexico.